Nobody talks about this, but there is a specific dollar amount that separates people who stay broke forever from people who eventually build real wealth. It is not $1 million. It is not even 100,000. It is 10,000. And what you do the moment you cross that line determines whether the next decade of your financial life is a rocket ship or a hamster wheel. Stay with me because by the end of this, I am going to walk you through exactly what happens to your brain, your opportunities, and your money once you hit that number. And more importantly, the precise moves you need to make the instant you get there. But first, we need to talk about the trap. Because right now, most of you watching this are stuck in it and you do not even realize it. Here's a question that should bother you. Why do people earning six figures still live paycheck to paycheck? Why does someone making 50,000 a year carry the same financial anxiety as someone pulling in 150? The average person will earn over $2 million across their working life and still retire with almost nothing. That money flows through their hands like water through a sieve. And the reason is that nobody ever explained to them the significance of reaching $10,000 in savings. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary business partner, once said that getting to your first 100,000 is brutally difficult, but absolutely essential. Adjusted for inflation today, that number is closer to 200,000. But here's what most people miss when they hear that quote. The real inflection point, the moment where everything actually starts to shift, happens way before 100,000. It happens at 10,000. That is the gateway. That is the threshold. And I am about to show you exactly why. Let us start with why zero is such a dangerous place to be. Around 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. The median savings account balance in this country sits around $1,250. That is barely 1 month of rent in most cities. Roughly 40% of people could not handle a $400 emergency without borrowing money or swiping a credit card. Think about how insane that is. $400 stands between most Americans and financial disaster. And this is not an accident. The entire financial system is engineered to keep you at zero. Credit card companies generate billions from people who cannot pay their full balance. Car dealerships push you into $700 monthly payments when a reliable used car costs a fraction of that. Subscriptions pile up silently. 15 here, 20 there, and suddenly $300 a month is vanishing into apps you barely use. Buy now, pay later services dress up debt in friendly packaging. You are not a customer to these companies. You are a revenue stream. They need you broke. And your own brain works against you too. Researchers from Princeton and Harvard discovered that financial stress significantly reduces your cognitive ability. When you are operating at zero savings, your brain is stuck in survival mode. You cannot think strategically. You cannot see long-term opportunities. You make reactive, panicked decisions instead of calculated ones. And after enough time in that state, you start to internalize it. You tell yourself you are just bad with money, that wealthy people got lucky, that this is simply your reality. Those beliefs become mental prison walls that get thicker every single day you stay at zero. So how do you break free? This is where $10,000 changes absolutely everything. Let me hit you with some math. Imagine two people starting from scratch. Person A saves $10,000 at age 25, invests it, and never adds another penny. Just lets compound interest do its work at roughly 10% annual returns. Person B waits until 35, then starts saving 10,000 every single year for the next 30 years at the same return rate. At 65, person A, who only invested once, has over $450,000. Person B, who invested 300,000 total over 3 decades, has significantly more in absolute terms. But look at the efficiency. Person A turned one deposit into a small fortune. That first 10,000 did roughly 18 times more work per dollar than the money person B saved later. That is the magic of compound interest, and it cannot work for you until you have something to compound. Here's what happens when you actually reach 10,000. Three things kick in simultaneously. First, there is mathematical momentum. At 10% returns, your 10,000 generates about $1,000 a year automatically. That is $83 a month working for you while you sleep. The gap between where you are and your next savings goal just shrank without you lifting a finger. The second 10,000 requires roughly 40% less effort than the first. Second, there is psychological transformation. You just accomplished something that the vast majority of people never do. That internal voice that kept whispering, "You cannot save," or "You are terrible with money," just got proven wrong with hard evidence. You are no longer hoping, you have proof. Third, your vision expands. When you are not in financial survival mode, you can finally see opportunities that were invisible before. That side business you wanted to start, now you have seed money. That certification that could boost your career, now you can afford it. That job opportunity in another city, now you have relocation funds. The opportunities were always there. You just could not access them from zero. Now here's the critical part that most financial advice skips entirely. What you do the moment you hit 10,000 matters more than the grind it took to get there. Because this is where most people make devastating mistakes. The first instinct when you see 5 figures in your account is to celebrate by spending. Your brain has been deprived for months or years. It wants a reward. And that impulse has destroyed more financial momentum than any recession ever could. So here is your exact playbook for the moment that balance crosses 10,000. Move 1. Split and protect immediately. The day you hit 10,000, take at least half of it and move it to a completely separate institution. Not a different account at the same bank, a different bank entirely. No debit card attached. 2 to 3 day transfer times built in. You want friction between you and that money. Name the account something meaningful. Call it Freedom Fund or Launchpad or anything that makes it feel like more than just a number. This is your fortress. Move 2. Automate your next phase instantly. You have already proven you can save. Now remove willpower from the equation entirely. Set up automatic transfers from every paycheck directly into your protected account. The money should leave before you ever see it in your checking account. Pay yourself first, not after bills, not after entertainment, first. The amount does not matter as much as the consistency. Move 3. Redirect your compound interest advantage. Your 10,000 needs to be working, not sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing. Research low-cost index funds. Look into retirement accounts if you have not maxed those out. The goal is to get that money into a vehicle where compound interest can actually do its job. Every month you leave 10,000 in a standard savings account, you are losing ground to inflation. Move 4. Increase your income aggressively. Here is something nobody tells you about the journey from 10 to 20,000. Cutting expenses has a floor, but earning more has no ceiling. The discipline you built saving your first 10,000 is the exact same discipline that makes you valuable in the marketplace. Ask for a raise. Document your wins, research your market value, and make your case. A $5,000 raise is not just half your next goal. It is 5,000 extra every single year forever. If a raise is not possible, pursue side income, freelance your skills, drive for a rideshare service, sell things you no longer need. An extra 500 a month puts you at your next 10,000 in under a year. Move 5. Install a temptation protocol. This is non-negotiable. For any purchase over $100, enforce a 48-hour waiting period. Before buying anything, calculate how many hours of work it costs. Ask yourself one question. Does this move me closer to 20,000 or further away? Text an accountability partner when the urge hits. Every dollar you do not spend on temporary pleasure is a vote for the person you are becoming. Now let me tell you what the road from 10 to 20,000 actually looks like, because this is where people get shocked. It is dramatically faster. The compound interest is now generating passive growth. Your income has probably increased. Your saving habits are automatic. You have momentum. Going from 0 to 10 typically takes 2 to 4 years of serious discipline. 10 to 20 takes roughly half that time. 20 to 40 goes even quicker. 40 to 80, and you are accelerating so fast it feels surreal. 80 to 100,000 almost feels like coasting. This acceleration happens because of a snowball effect. Each dollar you save makes the next dollar easier to save. Your money is earning money, which earns more money. Your confidence compounds just like your returns. Opportunities multiply because you have capital to deploy. You start seeing the world differently because financial stress is no longer clouding your judgment. But I need to be honest with you about something. This journey will cost you. Some friendships will not survive you having financial goals. People in your life will pressure you to spend. They will call you boring or cheap or too serious. They will tell you to loosen up and live a little. And they are not entirely wrong to feel that way. You are changing. You are becoming someone different. But you are not leaving them behind. You are going somewhere. And most people are more comfortable with everyone staying exactly where they are. The real obstacle between you and financial freedom was never your income or your expenses or the economy. It was always you, your impatience, your fear of missing out, your need to appear like everything is fine, your inability to sit with discomfort for long enough to let the math work in your favor. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. Saving $10,000 was never really about the money. It was about proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can set an enormous goal, endure sacrifice, resist social pressure, build systems that work without willpower, and fundamentally become a different person. Those skills transfer to every area of your life: career, relationships, health. Everything worth having requires sustained effort and delayed gratification. And when you build this for yourself, you are not just changing your own trajectory, you are changing your family's trajectory. Your kids will watch you make these choices. Your partner will see the transformation. Financial stability becomes generational. Your children will not start from zero. They will start from your finish line. That is legacy. So right now you have two options. Option one is to close this video, feel a little inspired for about 20 minutes, and then go right back to the same patterns that brought you here. 5 years from now, nothing will be different. That is what most people choose because it is easier. Option two is to decide that today is day one, not next Monday, not January 1st, right now. Open your banking app and transfer whatever you can into savings. $20, $50, $100, it does not matter. The gap between 0 and 1 is infinitely larger than the gap between 1 and 1,000. The hardest part is starting. Drop a comment right now with your target amount and your deadline. Make it public. Make it real. And 12 months from now, come back and tell me you did it. I have seen people on minimum wage save 10,000. Single parents drowning in bills save 10,000. The common thread is not talent or luck. It is a decision followed by action. Your first 10,000 changes everything. Go get it.